No, it isn't required, but ideally you would have, having seen all this, have thought about, okay, what happens if we do the exponential function or the reciprocal function? So just very quickly, here's what your exponential function looks like. So this is f of x, which is 2 to the x. If we double all the distances from the x-axis, stay on the same side. Okay, should have put an x there. Then what's going to happen? Well, our values of the exponential function will all double. If we use arrows to indicate some of these values, we're going to get a picture that looks kind of like this. And let's double this and see if we can go far. Okay. Wrong color. I'll make that point just to keep the color idea the same. Okay. Well, that would be our graph of g of x equals 2f of x. Yeah, we can do that. Looking for room to. Okay. And then we shift it out there. And we have to draw our rectangle, which is going to go up off the top of the screen. We raise everything this far, and this is going to go up here. So we're going to kind of cut it off. You get the idea. And we're going to then have a graph that kind of goes like this. And it leaves the board before it gets over to this extreme, but we'll keep one on. Okay. And this would be our h of x graph. Assuming that this is 3.3. Then, of course, this is h of x is g of x minus 8 plus, move this board over a little further, go out disaster, 3.3. Going to tip off to the other side of the graph. Okay, right here it is. And you can figure out what the formula for that function would be. If you were to figure it out and let me know what your thoughts are, please do. If it's wrong, I'll help you correct it. I promise not to be mean and cruel about it. Okay. Now, if we do the same thing here, where we move each point twice as far from the x-axis, keep it on the same side. And of course, this corresponds to our reciprocal function. Now, this point is going to move up to here. This point is going to move up to here. This point is on this side of the x-axis, so it's going to move down to here. And this point is going to move down to here. And our rectangle be like this. Moving each point of the graph. Now this point is going to move up to here. This point will move up to here. This point might move to here. And our purple graph might then be like so. Okay. Get stretched out. Points down here are below the x-axis. They're going to move accordingly. And you can be more careful. Graph of this, you can't find. But there's what we have. And now what we're going to have over here. Well, I'll move this far up, this far over. And I didn't leave enough room in our rectangle. This side is going to go up a little too high, but we'll push a little bit. And down here, it's going to come down like so. Now, this is not being done very accurately, but our purple graph will become our orange graph. Like something like this. Okay. So we have our f of x graph in blue. Our g of x graph. Which is still 2f of x here. And then our h of x. And I wrote down x minus h, and that's just because I had an h there, because that's the usual symbol we use for horizontal shift, but we'll worry about that later. B of x minus 8 plus 3.3. Now I recommend that you work out the algebraic form for each of these. Okay. Because in this case, your f of x function is 2 to the x. In this case, the f of x function was 1 over x. So your h of x function is going to have a different representation for each of these cases. That's what your graphs are going to do. And it should be becoming fairly easy to see what happens to the graphs. What about the algebraic form of the function? If your algebra is pretty good, you shouldn't have too much trouble with that. But again, if function notation is new to you, it might be a bit challenging still to figure out what your h of x function ought to be. Okay. Again, I encourage exploration, and if you do some of these things I'm suggesting, please write them out and send them to me or hand them to me or whatever, because I'd love to see them. If you send them to me, do a good scan with a phone app or a scanner, and make sure they're big enough and clear enough that I can read them. Okay, very good. And if they aren't, I'll just ask you, can you redo this? But please let me know.